The number one question that I get asked is, what platform should I use for my online course? And if you have been here for this whole series, you already know my answer is they're all garbage. And now you also know why. I'm Dr. Katrina Mitchum, and I've been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. I ran 15 different platforms through the same 3 tests with the same lesson from my own course. That's a lot of platforms. Okay, so specific details on what I did. I took my brain dumping lesson from my course that has activities, it has text, it has video, and it has 3 distinct pathways based on how you're coming to me, right? And those activities are a little bit different based on the pathway. It's not super complicated. I built the original in a freaking Google Doc, but it was enough to show you exactly where each platform shines and then breaks down. I also asked the same 3 questions of every platform as I was trying to put this lesson into it. 1, can we track something other than video completion or clicking a button? Can we see if people are doing the work? And then can we also respond to that? 2, can we build learning pathways so that not every client has to slog through the same linear list of lessons? And 3, how much friction is there between consuming the content and doing the dang thing? That friction is where learning goes to die. What did I find? The pattern that I found is most of them fail most of the time. None of the platforms passed all 3 questions. Some failed 1 test, some failed 2 tests, some failed all 3 of them. And a lot of them failed for similar reasons. So that's what we're going to talk about here. 1, the community platforms, right? I reviewed a few community platforms. Those are Circle, Mighty Networks, Skool, Heartbeat. They lead with connection, right? And that's great. A lot of research shows people need to feel connected to their teacher, their peers in order to be successful in learning. We don't take enough consideration into how emotions impact our learning success. But when you actually try to pull in a learning experience into most of these tools, the course piece is kind of just tacked on, or it becomes this glorified resource library, which is fine if your program is designed that way, but chances are pretty good people aren't using the resource library unless it is strategically pulled in to what you're doing in the community. Skool was actually the easiest one to fail across all 3 because it's just nothing about it is built for learning. They didn't even try. It's just built for information. And gamified shit is still shit. You cannot make a bad learning experience better by turning it into a game. Okay, so I also looked at some all-in-one platforms, right? Kajabi, Go High Level, and they do a lot, right? Sometimes an overwhelming a lot, but they were designed for client acquisition, not client transformation. So, for example, Go High Level built an assignment tool. I was really excited to look at it on the back end, but it's built with a grading model, right? This isn't freaking school. We don't need a GPA. Course assignments need a conversation model. Even in courses in formal education that have assignments, they're designed for feedback. The feedback was really difficult to give. A grading model and a conversation model are not the same thing. They're not accomplishing the same goals from a learning perspective. You can't pass-fail a reflection. A course activity is not an exam. I also looked at some, well, it's already there kind of platforms, right? I looked at Squarespace, YouTube, Canva, and I get the appeal, right? So your website's already on Squarespace, or you've already got videos on YouTube. Canva's right there. But retrofitting a course into a platform that was designed to do something else doesn't make it a course. It makes it a content shelf with a price tag. In fact, YouTube and Canva failed so easily, I put them in the same video. I also took a look at some dedicated course platforms, right? We looked at Teachable, Thinkific, Podia. These are platforms that started out as courses, right? They have all kinds of other stuff now, but they started out for courses. So in theory, these are the ones that should actually be getting it right. And some of them are genuinely easy to use. Some of them are really thoughtfully priced, but most of them were built with the same assumption that lecturing equals teaching and quizzing equals engagement. It never has. That's not how people learn. Thinkific was the only platform in this whole series that was actually looking at their gaps and trying to fill them. And I do want to give them credit for that, even though the direction they're headed, I'm not sure that that's the right one, but I do see that they are actually trying to solve the problem. And then there were Heartbeat and MemberVault. These two got the closest, really. Heartbeat built the most learning-centric course experience of all the community platforms. They had assignments, they had feedback loops. The community integration was actually integrated and made sense. But monetize the audience is still the tagline, but it still didn't pass all of the tests. MemberVault actually got the top scorecard in the whole series, which isn't surprising. I went into it knowing that they're a values-based software program. It passed on 2 of the 3 tests. And what was interesting is what it took to pass the test wasn't like some wild and crazy innovation. It was things like reducing the number of clicks from content to submission. It was tracking how people actually interact instead of just how many times they click the complete button or how much video they watch. And it was letting you rename things so that you could shape the learning experience and signal to your learners that this is action-based and not just content consumption. So I couldn't just make this into like a nice handy-dandy comparison chart because every single platform that I looked at was built to solve the same problem. How do we help creators sell and deliver courses, right? Sell and deliver. Those are the 2 things. That's not the same problem as how do we help clients actually get results, right? There are 2 stakeholders in these software programs and they forgot about one of them. That gap, the gap between delivering content and supporting learning, that's where courses fail. That's when students drop off. They're not completing things. They're asking for refunds. They're not recommending the course. Testimonials don't come in. And that means creators end up having to create more things, right? All the fancy marketing in the world isn't going to fix a broken course. And you're going to have to keep hustling to create something new to get new people in the door. You can do everything right in the course design and still hit walls in the platforms. I started with what my course needed, what my clients needed, and picked the platform that got me the closest. And I still can't keep my clients in the platform because it's not doing the whole job I needed to do. And that's why somebody needs to start asking, how do we build these places for real learning to happen? Okay, so that was my soapbox. What do we actually do with all of this? You start in a different place. You don't start with, which platform do I use? That will do too much directing of the kind of course you can build. You start with what your course needs to do for your clients. What changes are they coming to you for? What do they actually need to do? Not watch, do in order to get there. And then ask yourself, what platform can support that the best? If you've been watching this whole series and you're sitting there thinking, okay, I hear you, but I don't know what my course actually needs, strategy sessions are for you. You can come in from wherever you are in the process, and I will send you off with your next right steps. If the place that you are is you have an outline, you've already got something written down on paper or in a document, you know what you think you're going to do, then I have an outline review for you where I go through what you have and I identify gaps and tell you how to fix them before you move forward. Links to both of those things are in the description. 15 platforms. I was regretting my life choices multiple times during while I was recording these. The question was never which platform is best. The question is, why aren't any of these built for learning? Now you know the answer. So go figure out what your course needs. Find the tool that's going to get you the closest to creating that experience. And you know where to find me when you need help with any of that.